Thanks for being here on a Saturday night. The name of this series is called DOGPARK, which is loosely associated with a press, occasional tape label and press that I run out of the Quonset hut across the muddy field. It's a monthly series of poetry and experimental poetry and experimental music, loosely defined, scare quotes around that. The series has been running here in Kingston for about 2 years, and before that was taking place in Philadelphia, Lawrence, Kansas, and New York City. This is installment number 43. So thank you for all being a part of number 43. Thank you very much to Craig and to Roundabouts for hosting. We were here about a calendar year ago previously, Roman calendar year ago previously in February. Thank you very much to Craig. Thank you to Craig for setting up this wonderful show that you should absolutely check out. 3 artists. I normally go extemporaneously on the mic here, but there's so much that I have to talk about. I made a list.
It's also our year anniversary.
Oh my God, it's the year anniversary. Yeah. Thank you. The artists in the next room, Sparrow, Paul McMahon and Georgina Barberi, and Linda Montano, they're there. Please check them out. There will be, as we normally do, 2 sort of programs or 2 sets. There will be a set of performers. We'll take a short 10-minute break, and then we'll do the second set. What do I need? Housekeeping stuff. There is a bathroom right here. There's also a bathroom sort of behind me, to the door, and then to the right. Or you can also access it this way and to the right. And sort of around. It's confusing, but you'll see the bathroom. It's right there.
You won't be interrupting the performance of the poets if you just walk around all the way to the back over there, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to get in.
Wonderful, thank you. There's a bathroom code on the door. The code is on the door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is an opening here next Saturday, a solo show of Becky Selinger's. Craig, remind me of the title of this show? All Best. Featuring 3 kinetic sculptures of Becky's. So very exciting. Come back in a week's time for that. There are refreshments over here next to the fridge here, beers and seltzers, depending on what you're after this evening. And I'm going to pass around this red hat for beverage donations, but also going to some of the touring artists since we have a number of out-of-towners. So I'm going to just sort of give this to the 2 in the front. I'm just going to yell. I'm silly. So we have 2 sets of music and poetry. The first set we'll hear from Yanara Friedland, Chanelle Allesandre, Krasnoper, Warren C. Longmire, and Matthew Klane. Warren and Matthew, with me, with Spiral Editions, just released a tape of spoken word poetry that's in the back where everyone's stuff is. There's a whole bunch of stuff back there, lots of goodies. And so the neon lime tape is available there for you to check out. And then if you have a tape player at home, which I hope you do, we'll take a break and then we'll hear from Sallie Fullerton, Katie Sims, and Wednesday and Kryssi. And then we'll go home.
Ryan, is there a place to send money electronically?
Yes, there is. Yeah, the Venmo is back there on the table.
Amazing, thank you.
RY-bread, B-R-E-A-D. That's me. Okay, without any further ado, Yanara Friedland, please.
No, it's you first.
Oh, it's Chanelle first. Thanks, Chanelle.
Yeah.
It's Chanelle first. No. You're welcome. I'm going to stay here just in case the levels are weird.
You can stay wherever you want because you made this with me.
How does that sound?
Pretty louder my voice or louder saying the mic should be louder.
The mic will be louder in 2
The
seconds.
mic will be louder in 2 seconds.
How's that?
How is that?
Oh, that's good.
There's a bit of feedback.
There is
A
a
little
bit of
hot.
feedback. Okay, hold on.
And then I made it worse by putting metal on it. So,
How's that?
how is that?
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, that? Okay. I have kind of like a random assortment of pieces to read to you. I use my pendulum to pick them out. This is called Territory Pith. When desire became disarray, running, looking emaciated like I know I was, I couldn't help myself from pushing up against that door, from seeping in, through the grains, through the hinges, the jam all sodden and raw, drunk on my own seeking, unsettled pedestal site. Sometimes I forget that passion is intensity perverse, and it is dizzying to be alive. Honestly living is a territory, a scandalous yearning, and without time's pith, it is a question all curled in lilac scent, a perpetual boom existence, this golden cup spilling indefinitely. This next piece, I have some cassette tapes as well. They're the light blue ones in the back. And it's a split with my friend Jean-Michel Campara, who is from Finland. And yeah, why am I telling you about this? Because on my side, I have a piece that features this poem. So all of the pieces on the split were made with these things called hydrophones, which are microphones that can go under the water. And we recorded off the coast of Itämeri, which is the Baltic Sea, on the coast of Finland in a place called Rysalo. So this is called Itämeri, which is Finnish for the Baltic. It means East Sea. Itämeri, pouring waters, stretching out to eternity. One bright hour streaming, emptied onto the shore, washing in exchange of prayer, hair radial like a sundial and wetted, turn of the head to gaze out to sea, finding you possess a destiny, the corner of which you catch, as if it has been waiting for you for centuries. Ear to the shore and grazing the pebbles, water, sun, wet and glossy. Scrape of sea pebbles, your ear that scrapes the sea pebbles before and after it is relieved by water, hint of a bird, rushing glimpse of iridescence. I saw you from the brackish depth I had dived into. You were on the dock. A wave wouldn't wait for me, lifted me half a centimeter, and I saw the sun hit your arms. This makes me sink under. Clearly, I'm going to tell you something, a revelation given to me by the water. 19 July, 20 July, 21 July, from the sea floor, a substance, not quite reminiscence, not quite reverie. I think you'd say instead, vision, indistinguishable from certainty. Though I, apprehensively, hear me dive. This is the day after I fell from trying to cross an illusion of moon and came to my senses abruptly. It was no accident. It was a kind of dowsing, divination by falling, lunar possession, or gravity. Mystical forces are impossible to resist, exert themselves unsummoned like a reflection reflected, moon on water, sun of water on skin, wind on water on you. I'm only telling you a premonition, a swim. This is also a poem from Groundswell, and it's this poem about what's called a wandering stone or an erratic glacier. It's this massive stone that was a part of a glacier that they traveled inexplicably from their origin point, and there happens to be one of these in the forest by my friend Lotta's place. And I spent quite a lot of time with this stone, and we did some performances with it, so it became this kind of like figure, very important figure to me. The wandering stone. It will take some time, as long as it takes. An effacement, an erosion happens in the clink of the key of sea, thins under the voices of women in the forest. Glacially deposited at the base of a stone, which wandered out, likely over hundreds of kilometers from where it was first plucked, and maybe uphill, or maybe stranded by an ice raft. Before history, there was fern, salt, wind, messy, maiden cradled, carried far an egg on her knee. A wave, or was it actually a wing? The island, the wind, chanterelle fragrant on the tongue, on the fingers crushed, leaves of mustikat. Star voice with a stray sound. Is it mournful, or is it just a lullaby, and are lullabies a lament? She yawns. Star against stone, skin against stone, sound against stone. You'll wake it, you'll want to. And the stone will sing through you, will enter your throat, will reverberate the oldest memories, old pre-tongue of you. You'll wake it, and it will waken you, a sigh of ancient longing, the heart of a woman, of women, tears from stone. Once it has been awakened, once you have inherited it, it wanders with you, always stone at the center of your fruit. Erar, to wander, wandrian, to roam, fly around, hover, change, stray, air. Wanden, to turn, change. Still, wet, cervical, os. Womb's neck. Softens before it opens, before the women use their hands to pull something from the very center of an oblong vertical mass of sung-to rock. Mineral logic, a constellation of howls that the wind. Okay, I have two shorter ones that are unrelated. Or like, whatever that means. The hour goes by. Here for a moment, the drone and the night, an elbow. Alone, I stare out of sync with desire. Night suffices, and I lay into it. On the floor by the window, the pillow under me, like I'm trying to translate it by pressing in, keeping still. My hair down, I tell you, I worry my feelings are irrelevant, shadow tight. The night suffices, holds a single note, then drops it, assuming the center. How am I to fold away? Pretend I've salted my ambitions? reconcile my standstill, dive head first into the breeze so close, it gathers under me, forms. And this is a conversation with Iris Murdoch, who is dead, but who I still talk to. Iris, the accent is a pluck of light, easily, deliberately gliding from behind a boulder on the beach. Turning north, her eyes and a circlet of tobacco smoke, 3 of tarot cards upturned, and the wind that disturbs each of them. Iris mutters something spherical about jealousy and its drunken clarity, turns her shoulders to the sea, breaks the shore with her cheek. We can't do anything but wait, she says against her sleeve. And like all intuitions, this is a confession. So smooth, the way it dislocates, how it turns like a cloud in the mouth. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Chanelle. Next, Yanara Friedland. Thank you.
Pretty dark. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you all for coming. This is the last reading on a tour that I've been on to release this book, Thanatographies, so this is really special to read to you tonight. The book is out tomorrow, and I'm going to be reading from, there are 4 sections in the book, but I'm going to read from the centerpiece, which is a longer novella, and it's called Night. It is, as the title implies, about a long night in which a narrator lies awake and is visited by various women, past, present, maybe future, and including women connected to the city of Berlin, which is where I'm from. And I'm going to read from 2 sections within the novella. The houseplant suddenly appears much larger. Slanting toward the window, it threatens to tip out of its clay pot. I lie down on the floor in a half-moon shape, hugging the space heater. The nervous house creaks from my weight. When I rise, my ribs are dislodged. There is a new mark on my face. The nameless woman turns around and looks at me. She's not equipped. She can barely cut the egg up. It is not she who's phobic of life, but life that has grown phobic of her. To touch her image is to be breached by attrition. Focus on her hands, the shadows on the wall, stenograph a former language before we had words like love and trust. A woman's life is unimportant until someone deems that it is not. You may find this flippant, and I agree. A new order of words will be necessary, but also a kind of tantrum. From my porcupine nest and close to the houseplant, I watch others expand like rotisserie to chicken. Everything must be beside the point. I will not write of statistics, but it is true that there is an increase of sleep disorders I have eavesdropped on since my first summer of sleeplessness many years ago. Ingeborg Bachmann became dependent on benzodiazepines during her 2-year fellowship in Berlin, the city she supposedly despised. During this time, she began her transition to prose, her final work, Todesarten, while unable to finish Enigma, considered one of her last poems, overwritten, rewritten for many years, despite the defined opening line, Nichts mehr wird kommen. Imagination here is not nimble, but loops. the nameless woman likes to dance with the shadows which precede us, and the shadows in their plain presence enjoy being enacted upon by another body. I am the audience watching. We listen to the lament of the night, its drab performance. Shadows, shadows, shadows. The planted bamboo rustles by the garden fence, and summer ends. I get up and hurt my foot at the bed's corner, then lift the curtain. I see the light from the motion sensor of my neighbor's backyard. My neighbor stands at her porch door, a disconcerted look on her face. Our eyes dart across the garden before diving back into our rooms. A woman's lineage is about the ones that have been stalked toward extinction. Women stalk one another to find out how not to die. When I passed my neighbor's house a few days ago, I saw a large handwritten sign on the door that read, "Do not knock for any reason." A day later, the sign was replaced with a printed one that read, "Do not knock, dog recovering from spinal injury, thank you." The bells ring at midnight like a first sound, and I long with the passing of time to return to night's earliest image before the paranoid barks of dogs can reach me. The nameless woman plays with the curtain, revealing a changing scene outside. The clouds are thickening as the roads are thinning. She wraps herself up in the curtain, a wordless mummy, and the window blows open with views to the shore. There some women have gathered wearing amulets with 6 stones, white sapphire, dark citrine, moonstone, ruby, blue sapphire, and black diamond. These amulets carved into wax molds, then transferred into plaster molds before the metal is poured, do not contain copper, but are made of pure silver with several grams of gold. They are heavy and smack the collarbone when leaning forward. The amulet women live all over the world. They have never met. Some are lawyers, some are teachers, some mothers, some booksellers, some caregivers. Some have daughters, some sons in the army, some lived through wars, lost children in wars, some are living through storms. Some buried their husbands, some buried their parents, some their lovers. Some have art by Johanna Schütz-Wolf on their walls. Some collect clay pots, some knit, some bake bread, some light candles. Some open their bodies at midnight for a special seance. Some practice root cutting, some lay the cards, some swear by cults, some visit churches, some pray in mosques, some draw in ancient geometric shapes, some make daily collages, some sing, sit with the trees before sunrise, some are with wombs, some without. The women do not think about death, but they know that they will be buried with their amulets. They will be placed on their sternums, wilting skin. Their bodies will be covered in gold and turning earth, and the earth itself waxes into an amulet beset with stones. It turns, chained around the neck of the night. The women call me, demand return, not through dreams or some sleight of hand, but through right. The right can be convalescent, but more often it is unfathomable. Raising children to see them leave. Living thoroughly to die. The women coax me from a distance to come closer, and of course, to come alone. They do not seem to care about my preoccupations, my fears and uncertainties. They affirm a ridiculous movement, to go into it again, the body, the absence, the exclusion, the catastrophe, the trembling throat. They do not encourage visiting their gravestones or tracing remains. The return means to stretch out my hands into the past and toward the future, as inconsistent as these categories may be. To get up and place my feet, walk and then crawl through the narrowest cave tunnel, some light playing on the walls. I do not know the way. In fact, I have no idea where I am. Plausible roots shoot out ahead, like veins or the branches of a tree. I find myself in a cavern, which means a room within the cave that is dimly lit and filled with more women, all in pursuit of what I cannot immediately say. Solitary but together, they weave and laugh, brush hair, write on bricks, compose, bathe, make gestures with their hands, their voices, squat. I'm kindly acknowledged and greeted, though paid no further attention, and each woman is communing through her acts with the other women in the room, without ever leaving her own space of occupation. I find a shallow ledge in a corner and listen, which seems to be what I'm communing through. The cavern quietly hums. I can't help but think that this might be the way women would speak to one another had civilization played out differently. Women in pursuit, who commune with no identifiable language except the sounds and manifestations of their acts, not in silence but highly varied drifts of sound. Neither archaic nor universal, the female history, stored away in some subterranean cloister, may have existed outside of the alphabet, made up instead from a body of tones, grafting, and telepathy. I want to keep sway with these drifts transiting the ecliptic, a form of sound speaking, which is what the mask dancer Lavinia Schultz emphasized in her performance of Sancta Susanna, a play written by August Stramm before he died in the trenches. Schultz had appeared during that first summer of sleeplessness in an exhibition which showed her full body masks, mythic creatures such as Skirnir, the Blue Knight, wielding a sword, a messenger between the worlds, nocturnal beings into which she slid. The interiors of the masks were uncomfortable, with protruding nails from which she had to bandage her face. She made these from found things, trash and abandoned objects. Before she developed her own full body masks, she took classes at Sturmbühne in Berlin with Lothar Schreier, who cast his talented new student as the nun Susanna. Against the backdrop of the German capitulation and a brewing revolution, Lothar Schreier turned Stramm's play into a libretto for the Sturmbühne. Lavinia Schultz's solemn proclamations must have stood in stark contrast to her dance, her costume, and her nakedness, which again stood in stark contrast to the content of the 30-minute play, circling largely around the life of a celibate nun. Though the nun is in ecstasy, an awakening. At one point she announces to another nun, "I am beautiful, I am beautiful." Schultz, in the only surviving image from the performance, is wrapped in linen, and similarly to the mythic creatures she would later embody in her mask dances, glares abidingly into space beyond time. The ecstasy experienced by Sancta Susanna under the influence of night, lilac's blooming scent, and the ghost of another's nun rapture at the cross many years before, turns diabolic when Susanna, in trance, takes off her gown and rips the cloth from the cross. A large spider moves over the altar. When Susanna refuses to repent, the choir of nuns cry out, "Santana, Santana," not unlike Schreier's characterization of Lavinia Schultz, whom he described as both highly gifted and demonic. Schultz's performance has been primarily remembered for appearing completely naked in a scene and singing her text like an animal, though a review in the Vossische Zeitung scornfully remarked that Schultz was not entirely naked, but wore a kind of mini-bikini. Another reviewer noted, "Before a gaudy black, yellow, green, and red wall stands a woman wearing a dress and facial mask that mimics the background. Her arms are stretched forward while she sings, speaks, and sounds. Cowering on the ground with her back to the audience, a second woman, Susanna, answers in a shrill and giddy high voice. The antiphony continues until the woman on the ground sings a coloratura aria." Were these soundings a portal through which Schultz could maneuver herself elsewhere? The saints, as Imre Kertész has written, are infinitely more interesting than the catastrophe and evil that we fixate and draw our mirrors from. though it is, of course, Schultz's tragic death that absorbs the chroniclers. On the verge of starvation and unwilling to take up menial work during the Weimar years, she killed first her lover and then herself while her child was sleeping. I sit upright in my bed and listen to voices of the myrtle, a little creature with the absurd hope to live one more day. Calamity has a lack of contour. Upright and inside of nothing, an image builds from vacant air. It is not so much an image as it is a dream. The dream resembles a memory or hallucination, both the edges of despair. To live like a nun apart from the blister, caught inside of monotonous walls, in daily musings and work without much consequence. To weed the garden or chop onions for the soup, to wake at dawn for prayer, to be elsewhere, to be firm outside, a scuttle inside, to drift, an iron, to sleep or not sleep, to be ecstatic, to be communal, as oneself, to not keep up with it, but to keep clean, to not affiliate through speech patterns, units of thought, to let the light go out, with and without relatives. My nunnery is a wide open realm. One cannot be driven to it, and there is music, the company of saints, women in joyful labor. Thank you.
So much, Yanara. Next, Ina Krasnoper. Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you.
Dear readers and breeders, editors and predators, dads and doodads, dandies and handies, Bactrians and Germans, mads and nomads, shears and smears, smells and stations. Dear those who and those who won't, those who might and who might have already, dear those who have posted themselves at the crossroads crosswise, dear those who can otherwise those excluded from the list, dear front and back, dear cover, revoking a contract, dear red thread, rot front, gob squad, dear waiting room. We have gathered, we have gadgets, we are joined together by lips, ports, air, releasing a conversation, circulating tongues, flexing muscles, fixing things, to the point of turning pages up front, backward, dear court. What has it to do with me? What has it done to me? What has it me? No me has it done to me. No done has it to consider to me. No cider have I been drinking recently. No cent have my trousseau to distribute. No tribute to what it has done to me. No done in as far as one could see. No attribution ending the word. No word to attribute to. No biting as far as one could reach. No reaching across. The word is a sounding in multitude. It sounds as far as one could hear. Roar is a word. It is a word to be roared, to be confirmed, a firm word. In the family of words, roar is quite raw. At the same time, one needs to roar affirmably while being reared. The road leads to a sound that has potential. A sound is potentially raw. It is cooked in sounding, in ending multiply. Additionally, what a story. Orally, the stories to be told in forking directions, we multiply the story, and then it writes. It covers letters with sound and back, uncovers the sound in letters. In letters that are written, rights of sense to sense right, to detect. We spring upon rights, our rights of spring. Is this right? Why does right sound like luch to me? I would not know. Let it be luch. Right could be luch and no lucher than no luch. If it's not a luch, it would sound to me like one. One of the beams would be luch and another one right. Let me be right about this. At least in one thing I could be right. I could sound like this in search of the right word for what I'm saying. I got into a poem once or twice, and then I didn't. And then I got into a poem by someone else, and then I didn't. And then I thought I did, but I actually didn't. It was someone else. And then I got other people into my poems. I dragged them in. And then they didn't fit inside my poem. Their legs or other body parts were taking them out. They couldn't stay inside a poem for too long. Also, Lvovsky writes, I don't write about real people. Это я пишу о тех, кто живет внутри меня, а не о них самих. He says to be exact. So, whose legs were those sticking out of my poems? And did any of my legs or other extremities get into any of your poems? Skirts, you say. All my skirts are accounted for. They are right here in the middle of dropping from an inky dropping, splat, splat, a poem. Im voraus, impact, implication. I am implied in this implication, in this намерение, намера, пресечение, сечь, приближение, прибавление, to come, to coming, to welcoming. Too much of a well one can hear in a well. Its borders are welcoming the sound. Sound bounces back, back, lash, backstage, back, stagnieren. To stash in a stock, squish oneself in a stock, stack onto. Accumulate, акупунктур, аккумулятор, зарядка, за рядом, за. Here lands. How long is the letter I? How long is the letter I? How long is the sound Q? How deep is the sound? How deep is the C? Have you seen the letter I? Did it show up? Did it show down? How long is the downtime of a downing letter I? Of a drowning letter, of a drawn letter, of a gesture of letter to the left, of a left letter to stay unattended, unended, in a long sounding, ungestured letter, in a let be letter, in a let it liter, in a letter trying to tail, let in pursuing, the latter in catching, the letter at its end. Having consulted with a tailor. Now, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ina. Next, Warren C. Longmire. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, DOGPARK, for having me here. If you go to the back, you'll find a cassette tape also by Spiral Editions, and I'm featured on it along with Matthew, who will be coming up next. The title of my side is called House Flags for Fathers. It deals a lot with manual labor, something that's been preoccupying me a lot in my work lately. It's this one. Sorry, it's on the bottom. That's fine. Thank you, perfect. It's like a magic trick. It's like a magic trick. I think this one also. That perfect.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right.
So if you were to get the cassette yourself, this is the piece that starts it off. Most of these are from the project. There are a few that are new. This is Four of Pentacles. A hungry ghost straps expenses to his soles between the toes and the dirt. One on each choice of where to step fixes a large target to his crown made of stone, holds money at arm's length in front of his chest, stiff-arming the world with his work, back still arched instead of held square by his abdomen, sits slouched in robes, one more coin, then three, and off-kilter is our king, but clenched and bruised with time. When I think of this card, now that it's back in its deck, and the zoom blathers into a blurred background, easy and empty of control, I think of my chime account, of a sum of points that mark how conversational I am with our atmosphere. I think of my comfort as the rent rises like a flood. Contract rider requests. I want vacancy signs with red halogen glow. I need a charming arrow on a Midwest highway that says, sure, why not, come in. A bed spring, blankets with a thread count. Afghan, I don't know the hand of. I need to live in a condo above a Trader Joe's. Moped with springy lilac pennant flag waving, spare change. Walking on protected bike lanes to avoid a bony addict. Teasing, gangrene leg swell, needle dangling, raindrop fine from his arm. I need pockets that are deep enough to clinch my keys, fast enough to run like holy hell. The sun, dogs that don't fight, don't roam wild through wind-caught raising cane, rappers in gangs, cats that lick when I want wet. I want it, pretty birds, pretty list of words for a Nobel Peace Prize. Summit jerky in portrait mode, a gale of wide nightmare, assuming house flag for fathers. Bales of them, rushed dry and knitted into bricks, like any kindling should. The souls ain't going to feed themselves. We know how to hold feed until the time comes for a healthy burn. Hey, swatted for fresh cud, curd of green stirred into tobacco wad. We wait for a good bull to bleed, feed ourselves poached corn from the buck's corpse, rolled the handful of wild left and called it a mercy. Straw comes apart cheap, waste scatters into tar. We foraged for months, looked hard, we broke a black brand sold for its nature. A slab of wood dissolves into machine. Great-granddad dying after building their house that outlasted the Depression. Granddad dying after fixing their house, drinking his depression. Dad dying after renovating a house in the ward for depression. Dying after house, depression. Dying house, depression. After.
down to reinforcing bars, and lime must be slaked before mixing with sand to form water, and lime should stand for several days before use. The bricklayer turns the water over with his trowel to make it smooth and drifty. The first course on top of the concrete footing is made. Piers are formed against the walls to support the floor bearers.
This is a new poem. It's called Basement Job. Klane insists it's pre-war down here, but you can tell from the crumble it's over. See that lime powder collecting on the edge of the broom? How chalk flakes off the wall like stale saltine? Poke your finger inside that milk pocket, boy. Rain seeped through where the rats got in. Rot dug down and bloomed out the plaster. Keep pushing, and eventually the wall takes your arm, your glove. You feel the ribs of old studs fastened to the brick with the wrong screws. Quick now, in the tool pile, back deep in the bed of our wagon out front. Fetch the heavy steel thing that looks like an artist's palette. That's your hawk. That's your raptor. Hold it like a broken sword, steady as an Olympic flame, and grab the hoe too. And the porcelain, a quarter bag of pea gravel. When water just overflows a bucket's rim, fill our trough. Slap a new load of mess on my forearm. Your mix is too thin, boy. The walls won't stop eating. Get 4 cold form steel arms from the cubby up front. Over there, past the window, under the sound of the client laughing into his succulent garden. That's what our framing's made of, son. Arms, tendons on the muscles of this cage, where our gypsum layers get hung before we kneel to fill the mud lines again. Objectified. Everything and everyone and all the ones that made it. The chalk mark of feet of track to lay, the words curated and outlined in black, the professional's font. The fabric architect slept with his best friend, the publicist mood. How you made it. The stretch of leather stripped of hair that won the shoe, the herder that was preferred for some reason, the correct feed and strain of grass, a shift in the seasoned intent didn't escape the object, the belch of the smelting factory. And her grandfather's guts, but not his uncle's, spilled on the street, noticed the air and guessed right. The one that won, my favorite translation of sign, the blue of New Plato and the tolerance of my lap, make it the thickness of her palm. And I need it by Monday. I prefer it drizzled with polyurethane, non-stick, matte finished, make it noon cloud white and money green as a start. Measure it twice, make 3,000 units, do it with love, change agents. Rot turns compost colored in the knots of our malnourished guts. Red brick crumbles behind layers of wheat paste in the old house we now humble inside. The nightly drone wine has finally died off and returned to New Jersey. I can't hear it now over the tea kettle whistling, over the dogs scramble for their favorite toy. The porch cat returned to my lap tonight, purring out a bass deeper than our speakers. What stood at the end was whatever contained more pride than was economically feasible. Companies never sold insurance real as past values collapse. This itemization for a miracle that stays, who placed their unhurried thumb on a stained knot deep in the coils of my back. It's a victory to move, to love, to bear. A victory to watch and exhale, release from the impact of a small planted care. We collect water from the sky again. Huddle around the tent of an old friend's story after the kerosene cans have dried. Get high on incense and smells and whatever moments were left between in the churning gears of this money machine to spread quaint, corny things real as any Great Depression, any statistical representation, manifesto, almost remembered, almost whispered, shaking into your ear. Under these stars that shine brighter and quilts that last decades, under the grip of our still and still grasping bones. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Warren. Next, Matthew Klane.
Very early, airborne mast, an asterisk, a young and old, yet young sunbath, a young and old, yet young, yet young, to hold the earth, above the earth, until the day, eternal doors. The beginning of a very early sorcerer's pall. The child was born in a box. He was born. She was born, a fallen acorn, bewildered and scarce, and first burnt in a gnarly forest, black with black oxen that guarded. Another beginning. There were no more horses, and then there were 2 horses, barn glimmering. Some related fragments further. And when I saw the fatness of the world hurled down, the hound looked up into the shattering. And when the hound looked up, the fatness of the world hurled down. That is my heart. A windy hall, hung round with burnished star. That is my heart. A windy hall, shattering. The synopsis. A song in which there is a reddening heron overly fragments of ladder, earthly chattel, no more than shadows, we shall be foregone. When fog tramples the granaries, the grounds will lower and fold into the hillside bog of our bony wrath. In glamored armlets and a collar of gold, under the rustic thatch at eve. Expansions of the middle. 1. Danon Isle, divided from the deep, wild and wide, where one, another, the other, and I, divided from the deep, wild and wide. Two. A child bellying, blighted by the elements, blown about the sky. A child, blighted by the elements and carried out through the air, into the air, and through. Three. While the winds on Earl were winds on Earl, he barred the doors and wailed all the way to Mitter's Hill. A dew of sleep is falling, asleep for those who hear a harp, for those alone are only, those who hear a harp, for they alone are only. And wherefore do you bow your knees before beseeching? Thongs that bind beseeching hands, and more beseeching. Bid your heart grow heedful, trodden on those boards. Grow heedful now, and now grow heedful. People in the boughs, through blinds of grass, I can hear how fierce a light passed by. A blindness pierced, I can hear the fleets of mile by the edge of sleep, as sleep awaits the fleets of mile. I await the fleets. Hey, friends. This is lovely, thank you. I have a few thank yous to make, and then I'm going to transition and just do a couple of quick pieces. I want to thank David James Miller from Ellis Press, whose idea it was to do the cassette. He saw Warren and I read in Cleveland a couple years ago, and I've known David a long time. We're of the same poetry generation, and he thought of our performance style, so I think it's an interesting pair. We've been experimenting together, Warren and I, on a couple different sort of mini tours. I want to thank Ryan, who hopped on and was down for the idea and did the production on the cassette. I'm really excited to put it out. It's fun to read with a bunch of old and new friends. It's fun to see Ina again. We had Ina up at Saw and Salvage, where I host a reading series in Troy, New York. I co-host a series in Troy, New York called Saw and Salvage, which is the last Saturday nights of every month. If anybody ever finds himself up in Troy, or if you have if you want a pipeline up and down, we bring in the poets there. I'll be back in like 10 seconds.
This is a weird thing.
I've been playing music the last couple of years and hadn't played since high school. I'm 48, so it's been like 30 years. I've played some music gigs in the last couple of years now, but never really in front of poets. Those audiences are always very impressed by the language. And in front of poetry audiences, you guys will be like, why is Matthew performing less interesting poems and playing shitty guitar? Here's a couple of songs. I'm gonna play 3 short songs, and then we'll have a break. We are all deeply shocked by the brutal attack. We are bracing for the impact it will have on our stocks. In just a minute, we will talk to our savior, CEO, retired General David Petraeus, who oversaw the surge in Iraq. No one caterwaults like the bourgeois. No one caterwaults for little Bo Peep. No one caterwaults when the settlers settle Catan. No one caterwaults more than me in my sleep. play that song just to get comfortable. It's really easy, it's just 2 chords. Just, I'm nervous. That one's off my first record that came out last year. My second record dropped on Thursday, and we're gonna launch it in Troy tomorrow night, 6 p.m. This is like a pre-launch. I'm gonna play two quick songs off the record, much different than Yoli. We'll play them tomorrow night with a full band. This is just me. This is the title track. I'm the man underground, yo, the Sunshine Committee. I'm gun shy, unrenowned, deadly. You're the grind set, mindset. I'm the man underground, yo, the Sunshine Committee. Sunshine Committee. I'm the antithesis. You're the silliest senators in the city on the hill. I'm simply sitting on my hands. You're Mount Olympus and I'm Limp Bizkit. I'm the man underground, yo, the Sunshine Committee. I'm negatively indifferent. You're every one of them clowns at Dunder Mifflin. I'm the man underground, yo, the Sunshine Committee. Sunshine Committee. I'm the antithesis. You're a mega church with a whole sound system. I'm simply distant. You're Mount Olympus and I'm Limp Bizkit. Thanks. Okay, one more, and then we'll take a break. This is cool that I can name the references to this song, and y'all will know what I'm talking about. This is a song called Minor Bird that was written after reading the experimental autobiography of Nina Loy, Transcendental Factory by Carla Kelsey. In this cauldron, I sing of myth and misanthropy, a transparent a ball behind an electric fence. I sing minor bird, my minor bird, my byline with a style guide, Byzantine mannequin, oh soft machine, Lizard King in this latrine. I sing a shiz Satori, selecting words, meaning, mining, corrupted files. I sing mine bird, my minor bird, my byline with a style guide, Byzantine mannequin, oh soft machine, lizard king. Soft machine, lizard king on Zoloft. I sing of consciousnesses, odorless in a trench coat, in a French film. In an existential hidey-ho.
Matthew, thank you to Warren, thank you to Yanara, thank you Chanelle, thank you Ina. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break, grab a drink or drinks over there. We've yet to hear from Sallie, KD, Wednesday, and Kryssi, which will compose the second part of this whole ass thing that we got going on here. See you in 10 minutes. Thank you. Yanara and Chanelle have, and Ina, everyone has fucking shit back there. Please take a look and...
This is called popular science. And the airport kiosk is entirely self-serve. So too are the restaurants, which wait patiently as screens. I have been thinking about life like an ice sculpture that melted and disfigured into new mutilations, which sometimes were beautiful, that balded one's essence and became slick, and I was right. Time was on my side. I could order whenever. Or as I walked the street, tar was burning through the wet rubber of my soul. It came up towards my foot imperceptibly until my gait changed, deepened, and was uneven. I am certain of you, of the nightmare in which you betray me bluntly, then wake in early light, brighter somehow from behind blackout curtains, begging still for coffee. Onion-like space explosion got buried again today despite its flashy graphic. A new star is not relevant. Start small, make moves in silence. Mine are so vague you can't look directly at them. Our sun can be a piece of nothing to fidget with while we wait, or a secondary character whose presence was balancing the whole production, unknowingly, until they died. Or the big bucks HD console vibrating to give sensation of firing a real gun. Two men are shooting at the bar in broad daylight, killing bucks or male animals. The player loses a point when he shoots a doe or female animal. The men swear at each other, "Fuck you," and the plastic went thrumming. All of this could occur within the frame of a day, not to mention all the satellite fits of language I didn't think to tune to. I hate being stuck on a particular thought, waiting around so the poem spools and catches in self-conscious ways. I'd like to hold you at the elbow, fingers extended towards the sun, or to what you will never know, what I am closer to knowing, wiser now, by virtue of being alive. This one's question quota. I have witnessed certain inalienable preservations. Tree trunk absorbing a post, or the cumulus energy of a corner store before a storm, making my eye follow a particular cloud that appeared painted. What's at stake here? A professor would ask about a novel we were reading. I was put off by the openness of a question that appeared to have a blade. It seemed prudent to guard the answer, which in any case I did not know. Later I would ask an artist, what does the work mean? Before I learned never to ask that again. But it was all just angles of piping in a white room. I'm not moved by material alone. I felt entitled to an answer. In second grade, I was given a question quota, 5 per class. Never enough, I stored them up. Only now did I find out people feed trees dolls and coffee cups to later post pictures of on internet forums. The trees incorporate the objects without question. The photos speak for themselves, but there are captions. I found this tree growing through the eye of a deer skull, or tree devouring fence. A wagon wheel bending to bark, so there is no mystery between material and object. They work together. I've never felt the need to ask what a dream meant. It absorbs soundlessly over time. For example, it is not who you were, but who I was discovering. Since you asked, it was suggested I post this here. And this is the last, I think, of the kind of less new poems. It's called Weightless by Marconi Union, official 10-hour version. Bring me somewhere else. This way I become a bridge which ends, which sleeps through its own erection. The lost concern over miraculous effort affects me as I careen across the river, an Elysian masterpiece intended to precipitate sleep. All of the animals seem mildly aware of the government. The waterfall was itself a giant aftermath. Soon we won't be able to ignore that the saddle has a face. To go back with a bargain in mind, doing it again the right way. In winter, the curtain blows from behind the closed window, glass losing its place in the world. Steady now, the age of suppressants is upon us. The chandelier has a surprise limb, makes it all worth it. And that song, the title is supposed to be the most calming song in the world. Like scientifically. All right, these are the newer poems, and they're all kind of either called modern painters or American scenery. This one's modern painters. It is not always easy to determine where the language stops and the thought begins. The hail came as we were still in the restaurant, so only the smokers saw it catching on their hair like shards of salt. The bartender held a camera to a screen showing a deadly wave. The wave filled the camera's smaller screen, and so it would appear real to whoever received that rendition. I was eager to get home and finish what I'd been watching. Experts were producing perfectly articulated compound words. Background, foreground, chestnut, commonwealth, beachbody, blueberry, candlestick. My sense of good is becoming increasingly encrypted. I keep speaking before I know what I'm going to say, ordering sodas I don't want, champagnes, antique hand planes strobing before me like burning messages of prophecy. On Sundays, I liked to be up to hear the church bells, but dinner went late. Long stretches between courses created a sense of dimensionality. I can't remember feeling hungry, what feeling hungry feels like. I'd like to be prepared for any reality, like how David always gets away with just bringing fruit from his farm. This one's called American Scenery. We kept stepping over a line then hopping back, like a game, gently bringing both toes over as one plays with the idea of a belief or a contract. Fences around us were grinning. Everywhere we went, they seemed to curve up and smile. I couldn't tell what they wanted from me, to jump or run. The fences went off hills, through valleys, down curved cobble streets. They were tireless and mean, a stare that waits to meet you. Rules were made to be broken, and people kept failing to make courtesy calls. Every day, they knew what they should do and did something different. I decided to check into the hotel but not have a drink, just to check in and go to the museum later after a rest. No matter what I did, I couldn't sleep. Everything was straight up and down, across, asking me to read it. Outside always seemed like a backyard where Olympics happened. Every day a prize just for participating. In waking life, my subjects clustered together. Wine glass, carafe, candlestick, all waiting like genes to become relevant in the great wash of daily life. The fountain was itself a magic trick that replenished invisibly through a hidden mechanism. I was getting so tired, tracing the water on its path back to the top, following a drop as it crested the lip, joined itself, was large and anonymous, and falling always toward a greater body. And this is part of that sequence, but it has its own name. And it's part of it's going to be a long poem, and it's about Frederick Church's Niagara. Kind of Nick Frosty. It's called Niagara. There is a true version of everything, clear in its clarity, running always to its natural edge. The boundaries of a landscape show themselves. The river brink knows its position, even when ebbing. It comes back elastic to its border. The river has two modes, at rest and troubled. Rest being scooped from the earth by hand, by many hands over years working towards rest, muck spread over meadows, fertile, self-financing muck. The world shows you how to draw it. It looks like it looks. When a trick is played on the eye, beautiful accidents can happen. A hallucinatory rainbow promising continuity, meeting itself again. An actress who moves back home, standing alone as a voice of due diligence against intensifications of traffic. Grasp nature with one hand and do what you like with the other, orders the slow swelling of fingers taken in from the cold, beginning to flex more freely, to reach out towards what they want, a soda, a whiskey, or really anything to drink. There is a version of everything, a miniature Niagara on a keyring, an 8x10 reproduction, a small, highly delicate glass figurine, a Niagara pill of virility, a rushing like a great bath from a basin pouring out with upending force, a flood forever subsiding, only the roar left out. It was a better nature, totally remarkable divots in the earth, cascading ducks and geese, and details accumulating into whole scenes, utterly natural, in which just a man is pictured far, far out. A bright idea, a large wooden desk shipped overseas, a mirror set in tall grass. Though I am a tree, my branch is neither coming nor going. I witness the greatness foaming as I am caught between the rock and the rushing lakes, an uprooted tree black as death, bucking in the water, drowning inexplicably in knee-high tide. Why do precisely these objects we behold make a world? Water collecting water, becoming bluer than white. Cow-like head floating out in the wake, smiling to shore. Taste like pulled sugar and citrus, sour drops, the beginning of an opting for unpleasant flavors. Feel like the first brush into a church, heavy door that goes in one direction, a deal with no returns. He's tilting the back part of the falls up to create a false precipice, or the horror of mountains rising in the dark along Taconic on the way back from the city. Silhouette of a loved one against a dark hallway, intruder getting water in the night. The neighbor's outdoor television trespassing invisibly. I'm getting used to the idea of living alone. What is the lake worth? In an effort to see the sight in every available light, your boyfriend walks slowly through the gallery, slower than you. Then finally, you're fooling around in the American wing astride the colonial card table. Our past is a masterpiece vantage. Its expanded fields of vision beyond the ability of the human eye. When I look out at the field, flock and tree all seem to gaze at me. Before he died, we gifted my father a house. It needed new floors, ceilings, plumbing, all things he could do given enough time. During an argument, his brother punched a hole in the wall with a hammer to see by chance a secret, secondary reflection in the light of work. It's a real wacky place, my colleague says when I tell him about my tugging desire to hop on the Amtrak Maple Leaf route up to Niagara. I got my freedom on hand like a banana in a holster. You can't take my freedom, but you can crowd it, embarrass it, walk across it on a rope, sit down and cook an omelet. I have re-shingled the old roof. I have roofed the earth cellar. I have unpacked the old masters. I have picked and shipped off quantities of pears. I am beginning a new ice house. I'll miss my home, even without you in it. But with no visible foothold, I'm compelled to jump. Thank you.
Thank you, Sallie. Katie Sims, please, everyone. Thank you.
Hey, hi. Yeah, I think that's good. This poem is called Pet. Call me good girl, baby, daddy, my love. Call me cum slut, woman, bird, my love. Call me Mr. Sweet cunt, my love. Call me wet, fuck, yes, yes, my love. Call me every endearment, but to use my name only ever in anger, my love, has been an unutterable sort of erasure, obscenity in which I might actually exist. The spoon was never intended for eating. I open her, up my dappled pomegranate, swat her seeds out with eager backside of the spoon. Darling reaches round my middle while I take the fruit, shake the spoils loose. I quiver, come closer to the whack of skin on wood on skin. Deliberate indifference darling has. Juices drip, gather in our hands. We are open mouths at daybreak, slicing through wet. This is why I can't read music. She places my beginner's hands, keeps her hair short as a sissy's. She edges nearer on the bench, insists my wrists are drooping. I commit to fail from then on, just to get her to come closer. My interval reach stretches me wide, wider. She asks me to play with feeling. Her fist is the shape of my mouth. Twirl the cord. Curl fingers in the rotary. Our landline tugs. sway from your mouth like a rabbit. We low-key transgress, high-key I lick your locus. Picky the obvious project, unwed the wound, unbutton one, then another. Bind me my common lust, bless the old new flesh. I bite your belt, expose my belly. Fingering. I wear 6 rings of hammered silver, waif is paper. Want to lose them while I'm in her, only way I can think, to pay homage to the ghosts that beckon this restless soul, disciple to no one, herself a flash of God. Sleeping with a knife thrower. I fell for a girl who'd get into knife fights, would draw but never bloodied anybody. A scrappy, beautiful son of a gunning for the next word of the next line of her next work. Told the jealous blokes whose babe she stole to piss off. They ran their shit-eating grin mouths, said they'd beat her dyke ass, oh boy. She'd get one swing in, and they'd up their arms to the pale blue sky as they paled themselves, poor ineffectual bastards. My knife thrower'd laugh, being good-natured and all, put the blade back in its leather, take the canner's deli pen in hand. She could have killed a man with either, really. I thought her ferocious when she was. Mercy. This is called Chubby Bunny Come Face Contortionist. Front teeth bucking like barn rabbits, chiclets peek from the gums, as if I just grew them, as if they just came in. Twitch, wait, watch. I've caught the tip of my first carrot, my mouth a tugged O, lolling open with alien visitation, as if I've just seen the face of God, as if I've just seen the face of God, face down, taint up, brown eyes roll fade black, fill every hole with my eagerness, closing in, closing up around your wrist, nosing the air, I'm wiggling with scent, caught in it, waggling till my cotton ball tail falls off in your fist, the stick I'll hop how high for. Being watched, watching back. And that time when we, in the driveway, well, on the stoop, in the middle of the day, that was really shiku's. Yeah, I saw some guy walking his dog while I wagged in your lap. Made me feel like a stray being humped in an alley. I want to carry your litter. Captivity pattern. At the breast of lyric and Hyperion, a strange bird roots in my palm, or I in hers. She catches me, or I catch her, odd hours, and hours we flit places mid-morning, smack dab afternoon. We revel in their hot red sugars. I can see you when the sun's highest, she trills. 3 on the dot, we play act hunger. Wait staff laugh at the flight in our hunt. It's only the dives won't turn us away. We fill happy hours like nests just to be nearer. Suck on every excuse to stare across an empty table. In a blink, we overstay our welcome. We eat the worm, bathe in the dirt, chain smoke, have to. Stops me from sweating her feathers. She strokes my busy hand. Like her dog, I shake, will kill one stone to be kept at the end of her wrist, the flick in it. I cut my nails for you. This is the title of the book. You look me square in the teeth, pupils slit, wet with ambush. An arabesque lifts its leg to sit on my smile. Tongues crossed till I feel a kick in the crotch. My eagerness is dick pic-like, backlit, horrifying. There's not a cool bone in my body left on red. You stall your hands to punish up my, down my. I cannot rearrange my face before it says, I'll live inside your mouth. The smell of it, decaf and decay. Are there any private thoughts, or are we having them all in front of each other? I pulse with compulsion to be you, with you, in you, on you, in spite of you. Quickies. Mad tongue murmur when you slide in her. She has more take, this wet to fill yet. Soft push come, give girl some again and spread lips so wet sweet. Push into her better tremble, and from me these suck blow whimpers, our lick kisses, stroke each other like crushing throb water. Her honey thigh mess and her must-have fill that comes and goes. The lust lie licking whatever it wants. Every dark, hard, soft thing again and more, please, please. Eternity is a dandy. I'll come, genderless, sexless, androgynous as a shop boy slicing sandwich bread. I'll come unshaved, a burning bush, a popped vein that cuffs a hard, freckled forearm littered with stick and pokes, inherited from a beloved soft-eyed, single needle asking before it kiss bit. I'll come thick as fingers, assless chaps cut from buck leather, a pint of blood rush, candle wax that licks her lower back. I'll come fully clothed, I fuck your subculture, the length of a heart pound. I'll come understanding, cradling my own face, undulating and satisfied, thorny and dandy. Grow plump on God. At the end of her leash, I become a swarm engorged, cloud of bodies eager to feed. We grow plump on God, we preen our needs, streak hymnal and hedgerow with our ochre fur, cyclonic plumage before it takes the nape of a neck or the small of a back. Our currency, intimacies found among strangers. Our eyes slink, vie for this pansy's nectar, that dandelion's navel. We lick weeds whose first words are such a tease. You're such a tango of stem and spit and cells whose chokehold throats eat on their knees as petals drop to dirt. Oh, afterthought. What comes before want? Only to find 3 pairs of 6 legs shaking, clutching my bright face. The hand of earth, the hive, or I some kind of animal just before it gets kicked. Okay, I think this will be my last one. I'll stay here with you till the bathwater is cold. The artery in my neck watches you braid your hair with the hands you use to touch yourself. I want to believe you can hear my voice. I want to believe you can feel it on your skin. Don't be frightened, baby. Don't be brave either. It's bad, right? To want to lick the letters M-I-N-E, your eyes, the first thing I eat. Over the sound of drawing a bath, we hear the sound of moaning, making wishes on dropped eyelashes. Nah, just suck my eyebrow. A bowl of cash appears. What your baby teeth smile looked like, if someone still has them somewhere safe, or a lock of downy hair, out, standing in the garden, pumping water from the well, drumming cherry fingernails on your thighs like you said I would. At the canal, I watch them, throat kissing, side by side, legs dangle with the charge. The women spread. It is, I'll bet it is, how you taste. Hands roped at my back, there are only good outcomes, so keen. The antelope sits on the lion's face, so keen, holding still in the mouth. I take you to the trestle. We feel the trains run over our heads, that kind of leg shaking, the thwack, thwack, thwack as you shuffle. Raise the cards into a bridge. For you to do that to me, baby, 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 you'll get dizzy thinking a thing like that. Jeez Louise, it smells dynamite in here. What are we having? Lift your skirt over my head, make a tent of me, rabbit, rabbit. Each time your tail twitches, so does mine, the one I used to have. Still feels there, your questions stare me down, the one. Their inflections stroking me, their mark playing with my ass. The garden too sits, watching it bounce. You show me your day. I'm distracted by your aliveness. I zip your fly, rebutton your breasts into your shirt, pull up your coat, close your collar. I am not sending you anywhere. I am putting my hand inside your reverse strip tease. I am warming your planet. Do you feel me moving inside you? I am gathering you up, asking you to come closer. Your laugh breaks me open, much like your pauses. I expand inside both sounds. How many times over the years I wonder, were you thinking of me at the exact same moment I was thinking of you? The number is no matter so much as the intensity of feeling, the sudden drop into, as though on the precipice of sleep, the sensation of falling, and you are certain you are. The body recognizes no difference, jolts, braces, excites, is borne back, somehow more alive. You must know whatever it is, I will do it, whatever you want, so long as you crush me, make me reach farther. When your funny bone does its little bit, that's me licking your elbow, suckling your pain, calling it in more deeply, naming it Fred or Freddie or hey, hey, good looking. I summoned courage in the shrinking vista of my tingling palm, your rib cage, the bones fanned like conchas. Each time your lips part, I name your teeth. The left canine I call Sidney. The right is Roberto. You are someone whose hand I'd hold crossing the street. 11 orgasms crown the husk of your voice. Your music blankets me, engorged cochlea, reverberation kink. I ask you to karaoke so I might fawn faceless, the length of a power ballad. One key change, diva, I am spoon-fed, rice with sour cherries, my jaw ajar. I await your heaping. How your breasts might bounce on horseback, corseted and loose in a man's shirt. I draw a sun around your belly button in lipstick. I pray for rain. Lesbians clinking Pacificos somewhere in Los Angeles long before the fires took. This yearning to pack you a lunch, secret away, a love note before the sandwich bread, between the sandwich bread. Add a pudding pack at the last moment. Write your name all loopy onto the paper bag. You open it, get a nosebleed, let it. I like holding my breath in your pink water. Okay, maybe one more. Is that okay? This is called The Bather. The bather spreads sleek shins like inverse breaststroke kick to cradle her between. She draws a bath because there's no heat. They, too stuck on prunes under lukewarm rings. Her chest breathes beneath, water's line but for hard-tipped pink. Pounding faucet, upright bass over the printed voices of Eric and Eves. Bather leaves guess alphabet on her spine. There's the swift passing of smoke at the end of sentences and the craning of necks to get to each other's throats, and nothing gets washed, and nothing needs washing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katie, and thank you to all of you who've come out tonight for this sort of like very delightful, various, glorious, sort of spectral bill that we've had tonight. And last but certainly not least, Wednesday and Kryssi to perform. Thank you.
That was terrible. I used to always remember this, right?
Ryan. Thanks for this lovely evening.
Wednesday and Kryssi, thank you so much. Thank you to all our performers. Thank you to Matthew, to Warren. Thank you to Sallie. Thank you to Ina. Thank you to Yanara and Chanelle who had bouts. Am I forgetting someone? Katie? No, I'm not forgetting anyone. I got them all now. Thank you to all of you very much. Merch table on the back. Drop a $5 or a $10 in the hat if you haven't done so yet and you have the means to do so. Everyone get home safe. See you next month. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, everybody.